Hi everybody, it's Serger Thursday. I hope everyone's had a good week. It was a beautiful day today, so I got to spend a little bit of time outside in the sun. So today we're going to finish up our shorts. I finished up the last ones, and actually I'm wearing them. I don't know if you can see, no, I can't see them. See, shorts, finished it. Oh, some thread. Okay. So anyway, so I made another pair, because I bought lots of this fabric. I got to go to Joann's, remember last week? That was awesome. We are going to continue on with these shorts. And like I said, I made a different pair. A little bit different in that I'm going to today show you how to hem these. But what I'm going to do is what I changed so that it be something a little different, especially if you're making woven pants or shorts out of a woven fabric. A lot of times I like to put a vent in the sides, or a slit. See if you can see it through my hand. See, I like to have a little slit in the sides, and you can make it as long as you like. You could also do this with a skirt, but I like these in shorts, especially ones that I hang around, because especially woven, because it's easier to move your legs. It's more comfortable. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And with a knit, it can be a little bit challenging. And then we're going to show you how to hem it. And then I did finally get this little iron to steam, so I'm going to show you at the top how to take this ripply part after you've sewn in your elastic, and then we'll show you what happens when you actually get good steam on it. So anyway, let's get started. So let me turn this camera around, and first we're going to talk about hemming. We're going to go ahead and no, we'll do the vent first. Okay, the difference in the construction is the last one I sewed all my seams and then I serged them. See how I serged that? Let me put this on real close. I serged it, but all I did on this instead is I serged the front and back, but on the side seams I just finished the edges right here with a serger. And then what I did is I sewed it 5/8 inch, and then I pressed it open. Okay, so I pressed it open. So let me turn these inside out. So if you're going to put a vent, let me get the side seam here. Get this to cooperate. No, it doesn't want to. Okay. And I want the bottom hem to be about 1 inch, so I've just made a note of it. So what I did was, when I was sewing this seam together, I sewed it and then double back tacked right here at the edge where I'm going to want to put the vent, and I measured it with the ruler. And then I heat this. Come on, stop. This doesn't want to stay. This is a knit, and it doesn't want to stay for nothing. It wants to keep folding back, but I want it to keep still. So guess what I'm going to stick? Elmer's washable school glue. And I just want to lift this up, put a little bit of this school glue here, and heat set this down, because that is going to base this vent into place, and it's not going to shift and roll on you. Then I just heat set it down, and then it sticks. See, it won't shift on you. See how that stays there? So once I have that, I'm going to turn this back over to the right sides out. And you can treat this vent in different ways. You can stitch it away, just about a ½ inch away. But I'm going to also, instead of using the sewing machine, I'm going to use the cover stitch so I can see. This one here, so I can, because I can't see worth a darn most times. Okay, let me move this pad out of the way. And let me bring this serger up here. Okay, so I've set this up for a 2-thread cover stitch using the C2 and the C3 needle. I have locked down my blade. It's hard to see, but it says lock right here, okay? I have lowered the upper looper out of the way, which was this little button here. I put it in the down position and then turn my hand wheel until it locked out of the place. And then I can use my table. That gives me just a little bit more stability when I'm sewing the seam, or I'm sewing the hem. Because essentially I'm going to be sewing a hem. Okay, and my stitch selector over, where are you? There it is. It's hard to see it. It's right here. It's a big dial. I have this on. None of the overlock settings matter because I'm not doing any. I'm just doing the chain or cover stitch. Okay, back over here. And I've already tested my stitch, so I do know it works. So I'm going to straighten out these threads. I don't want stitching. I don't want to see any stitch forming in these threads behind here, so I want them relatively flat. I'm going to work from the top to the bottom, so I'm going to scoot this all under here. And this is where it's nice to have the Triumph, because the Triumph gives you more bed space in here. So I want to scoot this in here. Under here. This is why it's important to have this glued down. Okay, see, the line is right here. I don't know if you can see that. The line is right there. I'm going to put that right up under the needles. And I'm going to put the foot, let's see, the end of my fabric is right here. So I'm going to put the needles literally right on that line. Okay? And then I'm going to stitch all the way to the end. And I'm just using this edge of the foot as a guide. And I'm going to stitch off. Okay, but I'm not going to pull. I'm going to raise those needles and just hand walk it until I can pinch those threads. Okay, alrighty, and I can just clip these. I'm going to be hemming, so it's going to have a cross stitch, so, or stitching across the other end, so I don't mind. You could put fray block or fray check if you like. And it is started right here. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Again, start stitching right on that line. Just going to scoot this up under here. Now, if you don't have a cover stitch machine, you can do the same thing with a regular sewing machine. The only thing is that you have to go twice. Or you can put a twin needle on there. Whoops, that needle's down. I want the needles up. Again, I'm going to, same distance away, I'm going to put those needles right on the line, or just a tiny bit above it, because I did that one, and then stitch down here. I can just stitch off. Okay. I have these thread tails here on the front. So what I would do is I would go to the back and pull them through. Let's see if I can't grab them. Or when you don't feel like dealing with that, like I don't right now, I'm going to take a big eyed needle, and it should be in here. Yep. Here they are. just separate the top from the bottom. Take both of these threads, or you can do it one at a time. And I'm going to just put it through. And I can knot them. Same thing on this side. Thread the needle. Push it through. And then you can tie them. So let me find, I should change to glasses I can see in. Tie them and cut them. Cut these threads. Come about 1/4 to 1/2 inch away. Okay. Now the second half of this, you could switch to a cover stitch, a chain stitch, which is okay, but I'm going to do this instead with a sewing machine, because what I'm planning on doing is I want to sew a cross and a triangle in order to reinforce the vent so that it doesn't tear open. So let's go over to the sewing machine. Here's my vent. So first of all, I'm going to sew from, I have 2 lines here and 2 lines here. I'm going to go from this outer line. All right. And I'm not going to back stitch because I'm going to come back and double this, so I'm just going straight across. You can't see it either. That'll help. Okay, and then here's the double line. I'm going to sew right there. Take this and do a triangle, sort of decide how far you want to go up. It could be as shallow or as deep a triangle as you like. Come over here to the seam. So back to the same stitch and across again. And most likely I'm going to go back tack. Do that a few times. As many times as you feel needed, and then see, now you've got a triangle there. I think you can see it. So okay, that's how you do the vent, and you'll do that on both sides. And now it's time to do the hem. I'm going to use the same stitch that I used before on the serger, a narrow cover stitch. Okay, we got to press them. So I'll turn. Where's the one I just sewed? This one. Turn it right side out or in. It doesn't matter. I need my pressing cloth or pressing surface. If you don't have one of these wool things, they're expensive, but my God, they're worth it. For one thing, it saves me from going downstairs to where the big iron board is. Oh, I didn't cut that. Clip the thread. Okay. Alrighty, so I want to hem it up, and I'm going to press it. And again, this is a knit. It doesn't like to cooperate. So I'm going to okay, I want them about like that. And this iron is on, but you will see it won't stay because it's ornery. No, part of it did, but that one didn't. So guess what? Glue. I should have stock in this stuff as much as I use it, or buy it wholesale or something. Okay, and this even works on a curved hem because, you know, you have to ease it in. You could use the liquid one, but I find the liquid sort of soaks through, especially on a cotton knit. It'll soak through, and it makes funny marks on the polyesters. So this Elmer's washable school glue is great. It'll stick a little bit. It won't stay till you heat set. Go through here. Now see how that wants to fight you? I'm just going to put it on one side where it, let's see, it should be there. Now it'll stay. Glue, 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 glue. A little bit more. This is easier on a regular ironing board because you can fit the pants through, but we'll just deal with it. And if it repletes, you can just pull it out and reposition it. You could use a ruler, but I think hopefully after all these years, I can tell. I usually hem the same thing all the time, but you know, it's okay if you measure it. Also, these are just hang around pants anyway. Let me turn that back out the other way because I can't get it to lay flat. Wrong side. Wait a minute, where's the hem? Here we go. Okay, so I want these to be the same. Now sometimes I've seen vents where the back hem, you know, the back part of it is longer, but I'm not going to do that today. Okay. I'm just going to lay that flat and make sure it meets exactly. There we go. Alrighty, now we go back to the machine. And then again, I am going to use a certain spot. Now remember, a cover stitch likes to start and stop right in the fabric. It does not like to stitch in mid-air. If it stitches in mid-air, it stops forming a stitch. Okay, now there's a lump at the front, so in order to help it along, I'm going to pull on the chain a little bit until it is there. It's good and nope, it's still fighting me. There we go. And I go nice and slow. I don't go fast. And I'm just keeping the fabric about 1/8 of an inch from that edge, and it's catching all the way around. Also, I find when you're doing the cover stitch, don't sew like your hair's on fire, because that's when the thread breaks. And then you're gone too far, you don't even notice it. And that thumping that you hear, as I'm just using regular universal needles, I probably should switch to stretch or ballpoint needles. When you hear it starting to strain like that. And I always help it over the seams. And you don't want to stretch the fabric, just let it go. if you find you're getting stretching, which I'm not, but if you had it to where if you got stretching or rippling, you could engage your differential feed to compensate for that. So if you got it a little bit of gathering, you know, that it was puckering, then you would take your differential feed down to 0.8, which is, okay, if you were getting a little bit of puckering, take it down to 0.8. If you found that it was giving you a little bit of a ripple, then you'd go up to 1.3 or 1.5, whichever you needed. Right now, for this fabric, neutral is just fine. Okay, and now that it's at the end, as you see, if I sew off, see how it stops forming a stitch? And that's okay, I don't need any more anyway. Okay, then what I would do is I would tie the ends and weave them through the back. If you have I did pretty good, but if you've got any of this, you could trim that little bit so that it's flush with the stitching, so it looks nice and neat on the back. Because the Vieira way of doing things is they must be look the same. They should look as good on the back as they do on the front. That was my mom. My maiden name is Vieira, so yes, like Meredith Vieira. She too is Portuguese, but her family is from the island of São Jorge, and my family's from the island of San Miguel in the Azores. So, okay, so that is it for these pants. Now I'll do the other side later. Okay, here's the finished side. I'll put it light so you can see it really good. See? There's the vent. And there's the hem, and of course these lines just they go away. These are one of those magic things. I just hit it with an iron, it'll be gone. And see, now I've got a nice vent on the side. It looks really nice. Now, one more thing I wanted to talk about, and I forgot to tell you. We've got all about it almost. Okay, I'm going to put this back up here, and I'm going. Now this does not give you a whole lot of steam, but it'll give you enough steam to show that it works. So yeah, it's giving me some steam. It's not as good as the big iron. Okay, this is the ripply side right over here. See how ripply and ugly that looks? And that's what happens when you sew through elastic, is that it does stretch out. However, steam will bring it back. Okay, this is all ripply and really badly rippled, especially this side. This one you can really see how ripply it is. So if I just lay that flat and I just lay this on there, not on it because you don't want, if it's got any nylon, you don't want to melt anything. And so you hit it with a shot of steam, and the more steam you hit it with and the hotter the steam, the more this falls into line. And sometimes this one, because it doesn't give you much steam, it'll take a little bit. See how much nicer it looks? And see, the front is nice rolled up. See, this one isn't. This is kind of ripply. So I just go along. And that'll be true for any elastic that you use. It will all go back into shape. Like, have any of you used, like you've made the sundresses? Sometimes you can buy the fabric, or the whole top is shirred, but a lot of times here's a real big ripple. And you go ahead, they tell you, oh, you can make your own shirred tops by just putting that elastic thread in your bobbin and sewing along, and it doesn't work. Well, you think it doesn't work, it looks all uneven and ugly. Well, if you take it to the ironing board and hit it with heavy steam, it's going to retract that elastic, and it'll look like you bought that fit. See how much nicer that looks? I think I did the back already, but, and you can keep doing it. Every time you do it, it goes a little bit more. See, that's all ripply too. And like I said, this is not a big, doesn't give me a whole lot of steam, where the one downstairs is a big shot of steam. Especially a good Aliso iron or a good Rowenta will give you a really good heavy shot of steam. This one doesn't. But look how much better that is. It's much neater and much more compact. Okay, so does anyone have any questions? Denise wanted to know where I got the fabric for my shorts. Joanne, oddly enough. I had a hard time finding 100% cotton. Most of them were cotton polyester blend, and I don't like cotton polyester with a t-shirt knit, because I swear to God, you wash it and it's all pilled up and it looks really old. The first time you wash it, it looks old. So it's hard to find good quality knits. Where I like to buy knits in the Washington, D.C. area is Fabric Place Basement over on Route 1 in Alexandria. That has really nice knits. They've got some Vogue knits and DKNY knits. Really beautiful stuff. You guys have a great evening. I miss you guys. Stay safe. Bye-bye.